So what you're doing now, is it always you who does that, or is it a certain
Yes.
person from that county that does it?
No, I do it. This is election systems and software. I have been contracted by the county to be their election systems and software representative to manage the software in that.
So you would be the only one that would have the code to that,
The code.
to do that, like, to get into that, so.
That just, all it does is just like logging onto your computer. It's just a computer. It's just a code to open it.
Listen, I'm just learning this, I'm not sure why you're
Right.
like, I'm
No,
just
I'm
asking a
just
question,
saying,
I don't know
no,
what's going on.
there's no passcodes or any of that kind of stuff. It's just logging on to the computer. That's what I just did.
Okay, I mean, I don't know what's going on, that's why I'm
I
asking.
turned on the computer and I logged in with the password to get onto the computer.
And then you're gonna go into it,
And then I'm gonna go into a program.
okay, that's what, I just didn't know.
Yes, and for security purposes, this is not allowed to be streamed.
Which is fine, I just can't see, I don't know what you're doing, so I.
You're welcome to come up and watch what she's doing.
You can see it, you can.
Yeah, you wanna come
But
up?
I'm just asking a question, because I didn't know if this is a separate computer that's brought in just as election time only, or if this is something that's in the cloud that you can get on.
This is
No.
the hard-end software.
There is
system
no
that cannot access the
internet capability of that kind.
And then there's the thumb drives from the CS200s with the votes is imported here to create the results.
So she can view it, but we can't video.
Correct. That is for security purposes, okay? Security purposes, we can't show our software programs in that for security purposes.
So then, is this download somewhere?
No, there is no,
This by state law, state code cannot be accessing the internet anyway.
there is no internet.
It's just a program where we upload the results from the machines to create.
So you're bringing a flash drive from here?
Yep, which I
Okay,
just
that's what
did.
I'm trying to figure out,
Right.
how's it getting from here to here? So
To
it's
here.
a flash drive.
That's the,
Right,
okay.
the
Right.
secure encrypted hard drive or thumb drives that
Okay,
get coded with the election data. And
okay,
then-
so you're just taking the flash drive out of there and then you're bringing it.
Yes.
So when you go to the polling sites, when they have open,
When they close the polls at the end of the night?
no, when you
The
have
early
the
voting.
early voting.
Does not
They
have,
They
Okay.
don't have those.
because Indiana cannot tabulate for early. Indiana can only count or tabulate votes on election day.
So what do they do with those ones that are
They're-
early?
Those
they're
are
in
locked
that-
and secured.
They're
and
in
sealed.
a blue bin, so when you go in to vote early, then we have a blue bin, and they get put in that slot and that bin has a seal on it, and at the end of the night, then the Democrat and the Republican from that satellite center takes those ballots and they go up to the election room and they're logged in.
So they're not scanned over there, they're scanned when they're brought back here.
On election day only, they cannot
But
be.
At the end of every open day, they're gonna bring them back here and lock them up until election day.
And they verify the amount of ballots to the amount of people that they checked in that day.
Okay, and then when they feed it through the machine, it say that it wasn't marked, like the circles were, will it kick it back and they do something
It
or?
possibly will kick it back and you have a Democrat and a Republican person that views the ballot and they decide to accept it or reject it at that point.
Okay, so it's a human person that decides to
Yes.
reject it
Yes,
or accept it, okay,
and it's a Democrat and a Republican at all times.
okay.
Not on the ballot cards, correct?
On the ballot cards you cannot mismark, you can't overvote on a ballot card either.
Which is what happens at the satellite centers. They're ballot cards.
What's the ballot?
That's the
the-
ballot
is that
card,
the
not
long one?
That's
No.
that's not the full size. If you wanna go look,
Is that the
Becky
long
will
one?
show you the ballot card.
So on this, with her system, so you have a secure log on that only you can enter step into the system as the contracted employee, correct?
Right, yes, nobody else has my login to get onto this computer.
And there is tracking on that, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
And then with the encrypted thumb drives, I call them, those are encrypted, so the only, it has to have the encryption for the program to recognize it as a valid voting pad. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes,
On either way,
each one of
yes.
these machines, when we first started an election,
Actually counted until election.
from the primary to now,
So just because.
So from the primary, we had a certain thumb drive that we put in everyone to clear the results, clear all the information, and put on an acceptance code for this coming election. That's done first. Then we put the thumb drives in like we just did to count the ballots. If it was not qualified, what we call qualified first, with that code for this election, it won't even accept ballots.
For security, so if someone tracks that thumb drive.
You vote how you want, Katherine, you put it in an
Oh,
envelope,
yeah.
loose
Right
stick
away,
sticker, you
yeah.
seal it up.
And the only
inside
way they
an
could do
envelope
that
so
is if they had a
nobody can
key
see
to
that
unlock
record, and then
it
they have a box there,
cut
you
the seal,
deposit it in
put
the
an
box.
actual thumb drive or
No,
something
no, you
inside
vote on the iPad,
underneath that.
Okay.
the
Then
tablet,
it's gonna
and it prints
Okay.
that out, you put it in an envelope, you put it in the box, and then they bring them all back here to be tabulated.
That's what
But,
So I can review this before I put it in.
Good.
Good.
Sealed.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying, to make sure.
yes, it doesn't just mark this and then go straight away. You're putting this blank card into an express vote, which is then ultimately just marking your selections for you, because it's in the electronic system. And this comes back out for you to verify. So it's still a paper ballot, because you still have your selections on a piece of paper. And then this is sealed and secured until election day, where it is then tabulated.
I've never done early voting, so that's why I don't know. So I'm not asking it to be difficult.
No,
I just-
you're fine. I just wanna make sure that I'm talking.
And then just one question, I know that's not gonna come into play for this election here, but I got a lot of calls in the primary, because say they went in, they really didn't know that you had to pull a Democrat or a Republican ticket. So then they said, oh, I want a Democrat ticket. Well, then they went to look at it and they're like, but none of these people are who I wanna vote for. There was no way to go back and have them now, they hadn't voted, they just looked at it and they're like, this isn't the correct one. So is there anything that can be done when that happens for those people? I had several that it happened to.
Indiana law
That's
says
state
once they've chosen.
The
Yeah,
party.
yeah,
That's true,
and
but
once they've
and
chosen the
that's-
party.
Yeah, and that just,
The clerks don't select for them, they select it.
right, no, they, and that's what they said, but
Made a mistake.
they
Okay.
made a mistake and they wanted to know if they had any way to change that. And so I was just asking the question, the only thing I said to the people when they were there, I would just ask the people who were checking you in, because they had sample ballots there, is can I look at who's on the Republican ticket, who's on the Democrat ticket? That's about the only way.
Yeah, that's what they should
You know, and maybe in training that we say to the people in the primaries, please, you know, if they're unsure, they don't know which one, show them the both ballots, because this is just people don't think about, just like me asking these questions about what happens when you're voting early. I don't have any idea. I'm not trying to be difficult, I just don't know.
Interesting, thank you.
Sue, are
Due
you
to
ready?
the fact of that, Indiana law is because if somebody votes early, they come to a satellite center, let's say they come the very first day, they wanted to vote, and for some reason or other, they died between that and election day, as long as Madison County gets the official notification, we have to literally take their ballot out of the absentee ballots.
Oh, if they die?
That's
Yeah,
first
if
thing.
they die,
Yeah.
that is state law. That is the only reason why Indiana has this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to, I thought their
More
vote was
understanding.
good. I thought it was so good because
In
otherwise
other
they
states,
did die.
in other states it is, but Indiana, state code states,
Okay.
and that's why we don't tabulate during early voting.
And this is really what this should be, it's just a learning experience for
Yes.
many people.
What time do you start tabulating absentee and early votes on election day?
Kind of depends on how many we have. Last year, we started about, 10 o'clock. We feel like we're gonna ask the teams to be available by 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
By law, 6 a.m. on
Yep.
election. Okay, so they can, and if anybody wants to come up and verify these reports, you're more than welcome to. I know you verify tapes also.
So, anyone want to do that? We'll tell Sue to wait till you
Please
come
come
up.
on up.
But this paper report now is showing that the data from the thumb drive imported properly. So not only did the ballot that entered into the machine come out on the tape right, but now that data went onto that thumb drive and imported into the system the same way that we want it to as well. So it's showing that the votes are getting credited.
Probably your nurse making.
Okay, right, okay. so here we go. Got Monroe one and Union. And you guys verified the tapes already. Okay, so here's
Verified with your,
with the report, okay, so then this is the
this,
new.
and this came from.
This is, yes, right, see, you can see right here, date and the time, 10:58 and 11:40.
Yep.
So 11:48.
Okay, so this is the one that we just did, and this is the one that we did.
That was the, well, wait, let's see, the date, 10/2, this is today's 10/3.
Okay,
That was yesterday. Okay, this
Yes.
is 10/3. So you can see, 2/6, 2/4,
One is exit, one, right. So,
6/10.
So this is the
Right.
computer.
This, yeah, this is, these
Okay,
are.
there
these
are
are
warning
both-
screens
Yeah,
also
these are
that
both
will
from your
appear saying you are exiting your voting select, like your voting session. No votes are being counted. So I completely understand. Counties tried to help it too by putting, addressing
Yeah.
the training.
Name,
So,
so-
and we back, and at the end of election night, we always back it up,
Right.
so whenever we have something more to happen with the actual computer that it was stored on, they can bring in the new computer with the software in it and we can upload it. So that they don't lose any information. Everyone is.
So how many are there? Because you can't be in all these places.
No. Oh, well, I'm contracted by Madison County, so I'm here from start to finish.
So does every county have a one of you?
No,
Okay.
no, not every county. A lot of counties do, but not every county. I don't, how many employees do we have? Becky, do you have any idea? Becky is my supervisor. So,
I was,
I'm sorry.
no, what was the question? I'm
How
sorry.
many, she asked how many of us there are. There's a lot.
So this doesn't go on in all 92 counties, the same exact way we're doing it here.
No, they all don't use these machines.
There are,
Okay,
there
there's
are,
a lot of counties in the state of Indiana that does not have election system and software.
Right.
There's multiple
there's,
voting
yeah,
machine
there's
companies.
different piecemeals, I guess, of how.
There's
counties
us, there's
handle it.
Microvote, who
There's a
else?
few different certified, but any vendor has to be certified to run election.
Do you know
Equipment
which
in
one is the
Indiana?
most popular one? I know there's very few of this design.
In
No.
this, I mean, we are countrywide though, so each state is different. There's states where
So for our
DSNS
state,
is,
do you have one machine that's more popular than another?
These are, this called the DS200 is, if it's an election systems and software county, it's in every Indiana county, is it not?
Look,
right,
Right.
I looked on the state site. This county and one other county are the only two.
So we're not, Becky, how many
Well,
counties
that's
do we
what they
have?
got on the
only
state
only
site,
two of what?
the user system,
We have
The-
14 counties in Indiana that are ESNS customers.
the DS, whatever.
She's the
it's called.
state supervisor,
I
Becky.
know what she would know, I'm just
But,
telling you
okay,
what
I
was
guess
on
there's
the
like a
site.
question, like,
But
there's so many Mercedes, there's so many Cadillacs, there's so many,
The
so
DS200.
whatever
how many
system this is, how many, reporting in the state of
All of
Indiana,
them.
only 2 counties use this
No.
Yes.
system.
No,
The
14.
only
They use this one?
14 that
Okay.
use this,
14 of our
yes.
counties, including Marion County,
Yep.
use
This one?
ESNS.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the tabulator. Now there are older versions.
Maybe it's the tabulator that we're thinking that this, there are only 2 counties use this one.
No,
that, they need to
It might be
update their
old
site,
now.
cause I looked on.
there are 2 that have the older version of these machines
Okay.
in the state still. It's just, no, you are on the DS200s.
I'm just going by what I saw on the site.
Well, she's in
It
charge
could
of the,
be.
she's
It
the
could
boss
be.
of the state
The state
for our company.
I know
She'll
that's
probably
what
have to go
I'm
back
saying.
and read and see
The
what it
state
says.